Yeah, this is artist SEAK Claus Winkler. This video is an art performance as well as a piece of art. In this video, I talk about what I learned in 35 years of painting art. Well, it's more like 40 years or 40 something years. Yeah, being an artist, so I'm painting art. Yeah. So this is part two. I was just became interrupted because I don't know the video went and I don't know. So yeah, I was talking about Art Basel. I don't know, something here with lying? No. With Art Basel. I wanted to talk about, I wanted to do something more like timeless with like what I've learned about so many years of painting. Yeah, that it's important to, yeah, that you don't need much for creating art, that you can, they always say keep second or third jobs, but you can also live like really, really, really below poverty level and keep on painting. But of course, in that time, you grow and learn to have like also a low self-esteem. But if you keep working and doing like every day, like those 12 hours, that's also okay if you know you will come up also in a different phase. It's important to abolish television, of course, because television is just Geuslob. Yeah, no computer games. Not even having a computer where the computer games are possible. I isolated myself from most artists, you know. The only way I had lots of contact with other artists were in the 90s and in the till I would say 2004 or 5. Was painting walls, or large walls together, traveling to other cities, painting walls there, or becoming invited to other countries and cities, doing exhibitions, hip-hop jams, la-di-da, interviews. But then it was more like me, myself, alone, you know, in the studio here, or painting walls alone. Yeah, and this is something you have to learn to accept, and yeah. Create your own visual language. I'm listening a lot to audio books or audio content, so I can keep on painting. It's more efficient. At some point, you must also accept that this beautiful being alone. You must also then make lots of white children, not just because that's what they hate the most and it's the most efficient, because it's all about. They want to what's off the map. So, but it's also when you always like this like solitude of being alone. It's addictive. You love being alone. La di da. When you get support from people, it's usually just a few people who support you, and they carry all the weight. It's interesting. From the outside, it may look different, but it's usually just a very few people. You can have easy entertainment or fun on a very cheap level as a substitute or as a recreational time when you're not painting, you know, like going to the lake, swimming, like the really simple stuff. It doesn't have to cost you anything, you know, and it gives you lots of energy. You travel from your studio in your mind. Changing rooms is also great. Different rooms, always arranging the rooms differently. Yeah, that's because it keeps your mind fresh. It feeds your subconscious. The good thing when you paint on canvases or paper or transportable stuff is you can do white flight literally, you know, when with the demographic change and everything, because yeah, people just think for themselves. You know, they're just me. That's um, um, yeah, it's and why people are buying art. You must reverse engineer why they're bought, and you must also reverse it engineer it in a way that you exclude your own ego, why you think they bought you. Sometimes it's much more easy, blatant, disillusional why they in truth wanted to have something painted, and it doesn't go along with your artistic ego of why you think they would have bought they bought something. It's very healthy to ground you and to be relaxed and calm, you know, and not get like a big ego or a big head. If people buy from you and they get an ego rush from that, they now have a painting from you. You have to, when you take up that energy from them, out of like mirroring them, or because it's natural that people mirror their emotions, you have to container those emotions. Don't let it out, because then they project that on themselves from you, and then they think you think that way about them. That's a bit of a tricky. And you have to raise your prices, because otherwise they won't give you any more money. And then for them, it's just like they buy a painting and that's what they, I don't know, consume on money in a weekend, on a regular weekend. And that's what you can live from that a half year or a few months or a year. So, yeah. I don't listen to Robert Greene's audiobooks. They're good. Um, paint the backside of your paintings, also when I'm doing it all the time. Never paint over oil with other media and other colors or other technical painting or paint or anything or whatever. Mm. You can also paint with your fingers or with textile. This is 10,000 hour rule is good, you know, that you have to, when you did something 10,000 hours, you achieve a certain level of mastery. And if you're doing it like 20,000 hours, you achieve like a higher level of mastery. That's an essential thing. So try to paint as much as possible. If you copy from me, then give me at least 10 or 20 years later some credit for it. When you're like developed your own style, you can give something back. That's what I'm also doing, and others are also doing when they copied from someone or were inspired. Also, when my name clause suggests, just steal it and fuck it. You know, so I'll be greater than that. Don't wash your brushes or your roller paint from painting outside walls in your sink, in your kitchen sink, because it clogs the plumbing system. It clogs it like you're in 1980s street level drug dealer and trying to create like coke from the rock, from the brick, fake coke from the brick. Always paint with masks, with filter masks when you spray paint. I mean, it's like all this normal stuff what I should learn and should be interesting what I learned. Persistence. When I'm bored, I don't have no idea. There's always something where I can paint, where I can put in work, you know. It doesn't matter, you know. There's always like some stuff when I don't want to activate my head or my brain or my mind for thinking or whatever. It doesn't matter. Then take a few, like when you have love paintings in the process, there's always something you can do. Yeah, also integrate your flaws and your what you can't, when you can't paint something, also integrate that into a painting. It can be interesting, and it's used efficient time, which should be it's something which can be used in a painting. And also rearranging paintings, because you have to change the storage in your house, the storage system. it's also part of the art process and the learning process, and you can learn a lot about it. Uh, That is interesting to reverse engineer all kinds of influences and situations, also when they're from like the childhood or the youth or from growing up, also buildings or what inspired you and influenced you. And you can deduct also and reverse engineer and Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, explain yourself situations and interactions also like 50 years ago, which is interesting. And people are steered by words and by the micro words and letters in words and the connotations which are inside that. What did I learn in 40 years or 35 years of painting or creating art? Yeah, I mean, if you paint, you think that someone has been buying your art and la-di-da, and then you can sit there and keep on working and painting, and 30 years later, 20 years later, nobody has come, or just a few people. So it doesn't matter, don't waste thinking about that this, like, if you build it, they will come or stuff like that. Don't waste energy on that. Just keep on keeping on and forget about people in your direct surrounding for buying. I mean, there's sometimes a few, if they have like a high social status, and even then they try to lower your prices, so it's in the end, and in reflection years later, it wasn't like financially interesting. Forget your direct surrounding, because people doesn't buy art where they socialize. They see themselves in competition with you, or want to be just cool to hang out or have spoken to you or have an opinion about you, but they don't buy work. And they don't want to also, people never give more than their worth themselves, as well as they don't buy money where they live, because it's like you don't want to make the roofer or the butcher or the bakery store, the baker master, whatever, in your direct surrounding rich, and then you see them driving in their Porsche, Ferrari, when they have like a Mittagspause, like a lunch break, from your money. That's why all these people who have like self-esteem businesses in like villages or small towns, they usually have their luxury car and their like second house and so on Mallorca or somewhere, and that's where they're driving those cars, because they can't do that in the direct surrounding where they live, because out of jealousy and stuff like that. So don't expect anything from your direct surrounding. I mean, you just get disappointed. Yeah. I don't know. Now I'm touching the nose. Is there something with lying? I was thinking about lying situations, in terms of when I was like, why people sometimes hire you for a commercial job, or that you once painted something, that there's sometimes also other reasons, like women who wanna, I don't know, wanna hook up with you, or want something have painted so others are hooked up with them, and then they also try it with you. But they also, this is like, also comes with the brand, or with how you as an artist appear, that you project this energy or this thing. I never did something with clients, but there were like lots of clients where this was the elephant in the room. Like, and this is like an like, there's like stories of what then situations were created where I was pretending to not get it or wasn't getting it. Or I don't want to talk about it. I can't talk about it. But it's also because I was projecting that image. I must also say this, and especially the word SEAK and everything. And But it's like when it's not, when you're not, then you're realizing you're not about that life, because you also see your art as a value in itself, um, as well as it wasn't that like they were like showering you in money, and even then, in that moment, you then think you deserved your painting or your art or what you did for them in terms of art deserved that money, so they don't want to, this is like, yeah. So, I'm not asking my clients questions also in small talk, unless it's necessary when I should paint something for them. These days I would just take paintings which are still already in process, also like since 20 years in process, it doesn't matter, and then maybe paint the painting in a certain direction as a custom painting, or they have like a wish or like an idea or something, or want something special, and then maybe I'm doing it then this way. I would do it this way, just because starting new paintings, just large formats and just for myself. That's it. Anyways, I mean, you can try it when you are like multi-billionaire, but the point is, I forgot what I wanted to say. Haha. Yeah, it wasn't that important. What I learned, that if you paint more and more details, with each level of the paint, the brush gets smaller and thinner and more like 0.1 millimeter or whatever. The size of the whole painting multiplies exponentially, which creates the realization that one lifetime isn't maybe enough to paint all these paintings, which is, I had chosen the path that I paint the paintings myself, but there's like a lot of people in the art world where the others are doing the work. They have like large assistants teams which are working for them, and then they're just playing the artist. I'm doing it by myself. I guess that the art market is very small, because there's always new paintings getting produced. Demography is shrinking. The old paintings doesn't get bad or anything. They just get stored. So everything is full. There's just a very few paint artists which are exclusive. Otherwise it wouldn't work. And most of those gallerists are just pretending to make lots of money and are successful, which must be horror to just pretend like all the time and be like super confident about it, la-di-da-di-da, and then, it's like 10% of the art market of the gallerists are financing from the taxes in Germany, 90% or 100% or 90% of all galleries are doing 90% of the Umsatz or the circulated money, income and stuff like that. But let's talk about my own experience with art. Yeah, that a room can make you depressive, and sometimes you have to change the room or the light. But when you're in that time or phase, you probably are, it's like glue, you are in it, you can't really get out. This goes probably to all art businesses or businesses in general. Be careful what kind of women you associate with or let in your life, that they are an asset and that they empower you and force and challenge you to grow and to get better and to live healthy and stuff like that. Yeah, that you have to fight for the time for painting, that there's always other people trying to, I thought it was in my case like that, were trying to keep you away from painting. Yeah, do this, do that, and trying to come up with, I don't know, I'm talking about your direct surrounding or family, and then you have to segregate yourself from that, because the most important thing is that you have time for painting. Yeah, but sometimes it's also, you can also waste time. It's also it's good then to have people who, I don't know, tell you, criticize you for that, or force you, for example, to at least then go on the early morning out of the house and have sport and working out. Yeah, that you can utilize or instrumentalize to recreate or use everything in your surrounding as a studio. Don't just this like idea of that you have to have a studio or everything's bullshit. This is like this vanity talk. It's like, well, like when in the art world, fuck the art world. Just do your own thing and try to sell your work to people who have money. That's it. Yeah, and everything else, who cares? So you can work everywhere in your house or in your flat or in your or outside, doesn't matter. Just think practical. That's it. Yeah. Also, I don't know. What should I? For me, everything. For me, a lot of things are normal where I don't say, I can't see that it's useful for other people talking about what I have learned in 35 years or 40 years of being an artist or making or producing art. Yeah, when you have like contact with like people who have money, they must directly give you something, like support you. If you have time to hang out with them and like party or anything, then you shouldn't be an artist. Then you are anything else. Then it's like, you know, because you have to focus on your work. That's it. There's nothing else. If you hang out with people, they must bring value to you, because otherwise it's not realistic. You are just some, I don't know. I don't want to. We have words for that, because that just you have to utilize or not utilize, so and instrumentalize or whatever. Like everything must be essential. Everything is essential, and yeah. Which also means that networking doesn't really make sense, because like you could just, this is like the thing, you just have to focus on your work, and then there's no time for networking. It excludes itself, especially when you have, yeah, it's like when you, it's like a oxymoron. It contradicts itself. Also to not network and don't have clients or collectors. So I can't give you an answer there. I don't know. What should I say? Cleaning the room or everything is overrated. God, and that time you can paint. You can work on your art. On the other hand, cleaning the room is also good for your health, for your psyche, for your inner being. It gives the whole room or everything or the whole routine in the upcoming days a totally different vibe. It's like everything is new, especially when you haven't cleaned for like years or days, or well, not days, but years or months. Then it's really epic, that feeling, if you've cleaned and made everything tidy and correct. So, yeah, it's an easy way then to reward yourself, cleaning everything, but just do it a few times a year, maximum. Yeah. The palette is an important tool or blind spot in your everyday work life which dictates how you think, the form of the palette and the material. It's like huge how the psyche and the mind is steered by that. So I have all kinds of different palettes, which give different vibes and different connotations. I mean, I could even, maybe I should start to collect certain palettes. It can be anything. A palette can be anything, like the thing how to close a marmalade glass, or like, you know, it can be like a plastic packaging for buying shrimps in the discounter, or it can be like, I don't know, a cup or a little dish in like how do you call it? Teller. I forgot what the English name is. Yeah, music is a great way to get into a certain zone and to a certain vibe. Also, connection with clothes, to have different ways of painting. Yeah, it's good to learn about colors and forms. It's crazy how these people who are in sales or distribution or stuff like that are excellent manipulators when it comes to colors and forms and words and stuff like that. Something an artist also should know. That's a negative when you're always hearing audiobooks and stuff like that while painting. It overrides you being present, because then you're not getting really present in the moment. So I mean, for me it would be good to during the day have more really silent time where I'm not listening to anything. That would be like a challenge for me, because for the last, I don't know, since childhood I'm always like having like audio content around me or anything and listening to stuff. And this is, for me it's rare to not listening to something. But that silence can give you lots of answers and present, because then you also reckon when you get like a signal and how the signal with words or with a word or with letters then connects with the things which have the same letters and the same color, object or form or connotation, and how this, yeah, also people are using for marketing and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's in a way people are reenacting the name from the artist or from you or from me, in conjunction or in connection with their own name, but usually my name, this is how I'm seeing it, as in script. It's like they LARPing, or it's like my name is a script, how my interaction with them will be. It's crazy, and it's like a pattern. It's like, or the pattern is, of course, comes in variations, and that is like something I observe. Nobody wants to hear, nobody believes, or those who know, are too busy making money with that perspective. Always careful with friends who were artists or also painted, then stop doing it, or maybe successful with other things or not successful because they may be jealous or anything, maybe. But sometimes they also give good advice, depends. But it's always there's also that jealousy or that envy also within. When you have hard times, like in terms of you have to, you're counting the potatoes for the whole week, and more or less the oatmeal for the week, and the vegetables, so that your stomach has enough slime inside, so It gives you the feeling of being full on the eggs for the week. And so you have like the essential. I mean, I had this phase, like really like essential. And then make photos from all this, so that you have something when you have good times that you can say, hey, and then the false friends are coming or anybody and whatever, and then if people want something from you, can tell them, hey, where were you when I was living like that? You weren't there. So that's a good thing to have something on photo. Yeah. What else? That press or media, when they're making an interview or a feature with you, they already have in mind how they want to portray you and what they want, because they know what they need in that magazine, on that page, on that day or that week or that month, and what kind of narratives they need to feature. And if you don't fulfill that thing, then they have a problem. So yeah, that's something. So they literally know before they come to you what they want to write and what they want to do. That's very important to know when it comes to media or press. Yeah, the challenge as an artist is also to cut off the rat's tail of other artists who then are in your, how do you call that, water? When you have like a ship and you have like the water behind the rudder and the screw, the propeller. And like it says in Fahrwasser in Germany. I don't know the English word. And you always have a artist following you, copying you, trying to also then think, oh, when he's like this, then I can also get something out of it, and try to get something from the work you are doing and stuff like that. You know, it's like this saying, there's like one chicken in one hand is like working all the time, but it's blind, and then there's another chicken or another hen walking behind, and then she can see and she's lazy and she just eats the corns the other chicken has grown out of the dirt or something. So yeah, that's something every artist has to consider, like how to create a brand or something that others doesn't want to follow, can't follow. This is like, and then all art directions and niches and genres are fighting against each other for attention, for money, for resources, for recognition, for reputation, And then in the art market, the winners are declared before they get presented at the market, or before they start painting or become an artist or something, in most cases. So it's a rigged game. That you can learn something about how your art or your brand or your name is working within other people, and observing those people after they had contact with you. Then you can learn learn the pattern, how your name had what kind of effect on people, because there's a pattern recognition. Yeah, when you're painting in public, it's always necessary to have hard play toys with you, or like legal play toys, so that you can be protected. That's an essential thing. I'm listening a lot to people. You know, you see me here in those videos talking a lot, but when I have like people who want something painted, that at least it was in the past like that, I'm listening here and I'm asking questions, and I want to understand, and then I want to deliver on a deeper level, often on a level which is also it's deeper from my perspective, but then it goes even deeper, where I don't even consciously know what I'm doing. Yeah. But sometimes, but it it can also be that you then deliver on a level where they can't even handle the paintings because it gives them too much, and like their ego or personality or wise, it goes. Then they're afraid of what they're getting. That's crazy. Talking about they have paid and everything. That's not the point. But I should painting larger paintings. I should do more large paintings. I will do in the future. So I will. What did I have learned in the last, was habe ich in den letzten 30, 40 Jahren, 35 Jahren über Kunst und Malen gelernt? Eating nuts is good for concentration. Drinking a lot of water and a lot of tea. Unsugared tea, of course. Opening the window often enough so there's fresh air, that's a huge thing. And it's fun also to compensate for not playing computer games. You can also listen to gameplay videos. You have the same atmosphere. And you can be productive while doing it. Plus you get this community vibe while being alone. Regarding doing something pro-right wing, pro-right presentation, most people just want to do things online and are afraid or chicken out or whatever in real life. It's like then they get very silent. That it's disgusting that how less artists or almost nobody is doing something pro-white, pro-European, pro-white people. This is so disgusting. This is so. Especially from the graph world, where they all have this attitude with illegal and against the system, or the highbrow art world or anybody. Pooh. I'm afraid of letting out what I think about all these people for not doing anything. Because then I get the backlash, because then they start hating them. They discuss it then by themselves, and then they project that onto me. And then they get courageous and fighting against me. This is part of human nature, of course. I'm also giving them leash, so so I can't. Don't go after my face what I think. No, don't do that, because I'm playing a mask for self-protective reasons. Because the problem is that all the people who are doing all the memes, digital online and stuff like that, or the digital art which is done, provide pro-resistance, all the buzzwords. I guess these are done by people who are just doing that, and not from the analog art world. I highly doubt that. So it's totally different brand of people when they're doing a great job. And they're like epic, meme lords and stuff. And I have a different persona when I'm listening to certain music or wearing certain clothes or speaking in German or in English. It's like fundamental different personas I'm can get into, or I'm able to being, or whatever I call it. Yeah, it's yeah, that's just doing it. Einfach machen is the best thing, and everything falls in line, or is falling in line. That's the most optimal thing. One way is to connect with your childhood and with how you felt when you were painting or creating when you were a child. That when you remember those situations, then you can create that zone and that impulse, and from there it can take you. How important colors are, and every nuance creates a different emotion, and how powerful that is. That is so crazy, that goes beyond the possibility of explaining it, and how that's even affected in the face and memorized, and you can bring that into other people. And how much differences each color can transport, or how much different levels of influence colors are having in the same color. Yeah, that people are usually, when you want to talk with them about something, that they're superficial, can't focus a lot, don't want to hear it, not interested in it. It's like what Robert Greene said in his books about mastery and stuff, what his historic figures he analyzed also had observed how they are, how society is. Yeah, it's I mean, I have fun walking through events, especially like events like Art Basel, and analyzing and reflecting everything. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's also my brand, or the letters in my name. Why people doesn't want to go deeper. It suggests that they follow the intuition, which is then steered by my name and by the letters, and by the sound, that they can't handle or won't handle going deeper. I mean, unless you are like maybe someone who's like in sales or in NLP and really like fit on that level. That people are influenced by the other people's names and the words within those names, and the words within the words, and the sounds, and then follow their intuition without even knowing the name of the other person. They can feel the other name, because the other person is excluding, exhaling, like projecting their own name in their full being, in the face, in the way they behave, acts, breathe, the body moves in a certain situation, how they pronounce their things, they are on that frequency. And that for that the other person must know their name. That's that's something I learned. That you can also use the way when you going from groceries, you can use that efficient to analyze colors and reflect on colors and how they at point of sales are steering and directing people and influencing people. And that's efficient, you can use every part of your life. Martin Sellner, shout out to Martin Sellner, said that you have to transform your life into an act of resistance, and du musst dein Leben in einen Akt des Widerstands verwandeln. That is true. Also, you can use every act or every interaction or every moment in your life for analyzing or reflecting or for your art. And everything can be at the same thing. Yeah, the same frequency. So. And when you have art groups or crews or something, you have to be careful with women or girlfriends, because girlfriends can destroy art groups, or art cruise, or you want to call it. Very easy. Just one girlfriend can like the whole thing. So yeah. I guess if a male that is weak would be soft, you know. Yeah, that you can also work on paintings for 20, 30 years on the same painting from two sides. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm painting on transportable paintings is probably already having foreseen the demographic replacement of white people. Like we have to at some point do white flight again. Like so, how smart or how are we subconsciously? Yeah, that it's important to have one's ego in check. You know, if you get validation or people are telling you they have the same opinion or thanking you for doing something, then that's a dangerous moment because then you directly get validated or everything, and then and then I can directly be in the ego, and then at least doesn't leave room for other people, even the person who just gave me a compliment or anything. And then I have to really put in the brakes because and I have to discipline myself and stay humble. Because I can also easily taken away by words and by things like that. I mean, like everybody, I guess. So next time I'm judging others for being an ego, you know. So that's the important thing. Just show when you have people coming over for buying your work. Just show them just a few paintings where they can choose from what they want to buy. Otherwise, you overwhelm them. I mean, this is like shows here for collectors or people who want to buy my art. I call them collectors, but it's just really like about one-time painting, other painting they want. Anyways, I like 7, 8 rooms, something like that, more or less, depending on how you count for showing my work, or even more rooms, and that's like way too much. And that's way too much paintings, and it overwhelms people. Like more is more. I mean, less is better, but less is more optimal. Yeah, that one. I don't know if there's so much from learning from what I learned in 35 years, 40 years from painting. And I'm addicted for painting, to painting. It's, it also must handle or comprehend the fact when I'm not painting, that I'm organizing everything around painting, my art, or me being an artist. Yeah, I'm also an efficiency fanatic in a way. So everything must fall in line and be practical. Which is also good for women, because then you always have something better to do to fall into non-abundance or clinginess or making the woman or priority. Priority is always painting, natural. So that makes it easy with women in a way. The only problem is then you just want to paint and don't want to do this. Everything is distraction, so you don't even want to like have women anymore. Not having women, but it's inefficient, you know. You just prefer then to knock one up, knock, you know, self-relief. It's more efficient, more time for painting or for Plus you then get isolate yourself even further, which is um, yeah, I think that was a lot, or there was a few things. Maybe I think I'll do more videos in the future where I talk about what I learned in 30, 45, 35 years, 40 years being an artist. So yeah, thank you for your attention.